Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you this night. My name is Matthew, and I'm here at the South Wedge Mission on this, the longest night of the year. There's a tradition in Christianity and in other traditions to use this night not only to reflect on light and dark, but also to pause and acknowledge the ways in which a season that for so many of us is associated with joy and celebration can also be for too many of us a time of grief and sorrow. It's a time to also acknowledge and to be with our feelings of pain, of grief, of loss and longing. And so tonight, whether you are in a giddy place or a harrowing place, we invite you to pause and join with us in acknowledging the fullness of our humanity, the fullness of our human experience, of our emotions, of the things that are hard, the things that are causes of sorrow, and to be together in this space. Don't have to rush through it. There is no should or ought when it comes to grief and mourning. There's only what is, what you're experiencing, and where you're at. It takes the time that it takes. So let us join together, not to fix, not to rush through, not to get out of the way, but to be fully present with ourselves, with our experience, and with one another in solidarity for all of those who, like Mary and so many in history, find as much challenge and sorrow in this night as they do joy and celebration. So we'll begin with a meditation from Jan Richardson, A Blessing for the Longest Night. All throughout these months, as the shadows have lengthened, this blessing has been gathering itself, making ready, preparing for this night. It has practiced walking in the dark, traveling with its eyes closed, feeling its way by memory, by touch, by the pull of the moon, even as it wanes. So believe me when I tell you this blessing will reach you even if you have not light enough to read it. It will find you even though you cannot see it coming. You will know the moment of its arriving by your release of the breath you have held, the breath you have held so long, a loosening of the clenching in your hands, of the clutch around your heart, a thinning of the darkness that had drawn itself around you. This blessing does not mean to take the night away, but it knows its hidden roads, knows the resting spots along the path, knows what it means to travel in the company of a friend. So, when this blessing comes, take its hand. Get up. Set out on the road you cannot see. This is the night when you can trust that any direction you go, you will be walking toward the dawn. Wherever you're at tonight, take a deep breath. Hear the gentle droning, see the light flickering of the candles. Acknowledge what is suffering and hurting within you. Acknowledge that even if this is a great time of year for you, others are suffering and hurting. Disappointment because of distance. Despair because of death. Grief because of loss. Oppression because of poverty and of injustice. There is space in our humanity, there is space in the vast love of God for every void that we feel and can acknowledge. Let us hold that space as you're able, without shame, without judgment, only with an intention to be present, to be in solidarity, to know that the fullness of who you are, every bit of you, is beloved and held in the love of God. And in the words of Claudio Carvalhaes, let our mourning be. Let us join our sorrows with the sorrows of God's people everywhere. Let our mourning be for earth that is blasted and burned, for the olive trees that are bare, and for the vines that do not bear fruit, for the children who are lost, and for parents whose arms are empty, for those who seek refuge and do not find peace. Jesus said, "Stay with me, watch and pray." Take a deep breath and add what your mourning is for this night, what your grieving is, what your loss is. Just hold it, breathe with it, know that it is held. Share in the comments if you'd like, or just in your heart. Let our mourning be like an ocean that cannot be emptied, like a river that cannot be stopped, like the strong summer rain that puts an end to drought. Jesus said, "Share my baptism, drink my cup." Be present to the places of mourning and grieving in your body, the goodness of that physical thing we live as part of. Breathe through and without judgment or shame. Be with the grieving. Let our mourning be a vigil in the darkness, a light that searches out the lost, a hand that reaches out to save and to hold. Jesus said, "Blessed are those who mourn, they shall be comforted." As you breathe through those knotted places, those hard places in your body and your soul that grieve, those places in the world that suffer, without trying to fix or end or resolve, also breathe through that promise. Right as you are, where you're at tonight. Blessed are those who mourn, they shall be comforted. As you continue to breathe, and I invite you to just sit and breathe with whatever you're going through, to close your eyes if you need to allow your body to be in a place of suffering. I'm going to sing a song from my friend and colleague, Francisco Herrera. This is a Marian devotional that he dedicated to Dr. Katja Lysander that he recently published online. It's a beautiful song based on the Magnificat. But I invite you to hear this, to let it sing with you, to be with the Mother of God, Mary, who not only knew great joy, but also a sword that pierced her heart. And to know that you are held in that same embrace. Gently sleep, my child most precious, safe from wind and rain, dreaming of water, a son or a daughter, a child untouched by pain. For those who wake, my child most precious, here beneath our sky, anger and sorrow today and tomorrow will greet your morning cry. Yes, I'll sing of glory, glory from the Lord. from their thrones, and send the rich off empty. Yes, I'll sing of mercy, mercy from the Lord. Carefully knit your flesh and bone, and love your tender body. Dust will be your food, your labor, sweat and blood in hand. Cold morning yearning, the mid-Sunday burning, asleep your only friend. The dust will be your food, your labor, toiling as the slaves. Soldier and pharaoh crack bone to the marrow until we rest in grave. Yet I'll sing of freedom, freedom from the Lord. Cast the mighty from their thrones, and send the rich off empty. Yes, I'll sing of justice, justice from the Lord. Carefully knit your flesh and bone, and love your tender body. Please forgive your lowly mother every smile and tear. These frightened bones are as hard as the stones that bruise your back with fear. So please forgive your lowly mother, for I know she will fail, can conquer death, and so she will be left all alone to weep and wail. Yet I'll sing of power, power from the Lord. Cast the mighty from their thrones, and send the rich off empty. Yes, I'll sing of new life from the Lord. Carefully knit your flesh and bone, and love your tender body. Gently sleep, my child, most precious, safe from wind and rain. Dreaming in water, a son or a daughter, a child untouched by pain. Thank you, Francisco, for that beautiful song. Wherever you're at tonight, I hope that you have had a chance to be there, to be exactly where you are without timeline or pressure, without shame or judgment. I pray that even as this week goes on, as the night gives forth to shorter and shorter nights, to longer and longer days, that you would know that the fullness of your humanity and your human experience is blessed and good, that it is worth paying attention to, and that you might find solidarity and community. And I hope that tonight, being together in this space has provided even a little bit of healing. If you need to reach out, to work through that, to talk, feel free to message me, your pastor, a friend. Reach out and be together in this sacred time. And I want to conclude with a prayer from Lauren Bogle on behalf of inflesh.com, a prayer at Winter Solace. Creative Spirit of life, God whose energy is love, you are the gentle darkness cradling us at our beginning and at our end. You are the light that slowly awakes us in the morning and ebbs out at the close of the day. You are the rhythm of time and seasons. You are the seed and the ground, and you are the force of life that transforms the seed into plants and fruit. You are the earth that receives all and returns all to life again. As we approach this longest night, let us simply settle in the dark, be with what is true, and wonder at the miracles that happen here. Help us let the dark do its work on earth and in us. A time for slow and underground nourishment. A time for resting and for stars that can only be seen in the dark. Let us slow down. Let us, with no big fanfare, reach out to nourish one another. Let us rest and let us look out for twinkling lights in the sky to show us the way. If we can stay long enough here in the dark, we will also be ones who wait with faith, who know that no birth, no season can be rushed. If we can stay long enough here in the dark, we might feel the light growing day by day in ourselves and one another. Help us let the dark do its work, as necessary as the light, while we wait with expectation for another season of growth and change on this earth and in our lives, transforming love, the force of life flowing again through all. Help us let the dark do its work on us. On this longest night, this winter solstice, this time of great darkness and sorrow and of infinite possibility, may you find companionship, may you find presence, may you find the kind of morning that is blessed. May you find healing. May you know above all that you are a beloved child of the Creator, whose love and infinite pleasure and joy and delight made you to be exactly who you are now, and is with you and in you exactly as you are now. Amen.